All right, here's your homework for tonight. Section 8.6, we are doing the story problems that are associated with solving rational equations. Number 4, I want you to think about this for a second. It says, if the speed of an airplane is 350 miles per hour with a tailwind of 40 miles per hour, how fast is the plane going? So what did I say it is? If it's with tailwind, it's R plus W. And what is the R plus W? It's 350. What's your tailwind? It's 40 miles per hour. So the R represents the speed of the plane. What would be the speed of the plane? $310. Questions? Number 20. The speed of an airplane is given by S is equal to D over T, where D represents the distance and T is the time. So the first question is just a simple distance is equal to rate times time. So if a plane flies 700 miles from New York to Chicago at a speed of 360, what's the time? They're not talking about wind or anything. What's the formula here? Distance is equal to rate times time. So where would 700 go?
Rate.
700 miles?
Oh, wait, distance.
That's your distance. The rate, what is the rate?
360.
360. And it says find the time, so what's our variable?
T.
T. So what are you gonna do?
Divide by 360.
Mm-hmm. And you get, if you divide this, you get 1.94. So in other words, going from New York to Chicago, it's taking 1.94 hours. So you go from New York to Chicago, and it took 1.94 hours. Okay, now let's read B. On the return trip from Chicago to New York, now we're going the other way, we now have tailwind. How do we represent tailwind? Yeah, R plus W. And the plane is definitely going faster with tailwind. It says the total flying time for the entire trip is 3.5 hours. But how much of that time did we just spend going from New York to Chicago?
1.4.
1.94 hours. So what time is left to go to Chicago back to New York? How do you figure out the time? If the entire trip from New York to Chicago, Chicago to New York, took 3.5 hours, and from New York to Chicago was 1.94 hours. So it'd be 3.5 minus 1.94, and you get 1.56. So notice how it's short, it's small, it's a less time, because we said there's tailwind. So this is the time from Chicago to New York. Again, what's the formula? Distance is rate times time. How far are we going back from Chicago to New York? What's the distance?
700.
700. We have tailwind. What's the speed of the plane?
360.
360 plus, we're trying to figure out what that wind is. And how long are we in the air from Chicago to New York? 1.56 hours. How do you solve this? Couple things you could do. You could divide by 1.56, 700, and then subtract 360. Or you can distribute, and I want you to do this for me and tell me what answer you get. You get about 89. And that would be the speed of the wind, miles per hour. Anyone not understand that? Number 37. One pump can fill a tank with oil in 4 hours. And a second pump can fill it in 3 hours. If both pumps are used at the same time, how long will it'll take to fill the tank? What would you write? So tank, the first tank is gonna take 4 hours. So what portion of the job can it do in 1 hour? 1/4. And the second is a third of the job can be done in an hour. Set that equal to 1. What's your common denominator? What is it? You're gonna multiply this whole thing by 12. How many times does 4 go into 12? 3 times. How many times does 3 go into 12? 4 times. And 12 times 1 is 12. 7x equals 12. Divide by 7. And you get 1.7 hours. Questions? Okay, last one, 38. You can stuff envelopes twice as fast as your friend. So one person, 2x times 4.5 hours plus 1x, and then we're doing it for 4.5 hours, and our total job is 6,750 envelopes. So one is twice as fast as the other one, and they both were doing this for 4.5 hours. So together you're doing this for 4.5 hours. Okay? The other way you can look at this problem is 6750 over x plus 6750 over 2x. One takes x long, and the other one does it twice the job, twice as long. And then you've got 4.5 hours. So you could do this problem either way. You're gonna solve for x. X is gonna end up being 500, and then if you divide it here and here, you will get how long it takes each one working alone. So you end up with x is 500, and then you're gonna put that here and here to get your answers. And the correct answers, I will tell you, are, one second. It's 6.75 hours. And the other one is 13.5 hours.